Welcome back to the GSL Code S. We are now in the loser's match. One of these guys going right down to Code B right now. Who's it going to be, Wolf?
Tails, I think. I think he's got some real good creative builds, but he's up against somebody who's just, honestly, in my opinion, too solid for his tricks. It's like trying to use a mind trick on a Jedi. It's the other way around, usually, ends up happening.
Ah, I see. Well, I do actually hope Bbyong wins. You know, he's one of our only Terrans left, and I would not mind seeing a rematch of him and Dark, because that was I was so impressed with Dark's play. I'd like to see if Bbyong can step it up.
Well, may the best man win, Artosis. We're going into the losers match. We're at Group A of the GSL Code S. We're in our second season for 2014, and we're starting things off on Alterzim Stronghold for this TVP, excuse me.
Over here in the top left, our Protoss player. Let's see what type of build he's going to pull out today. Yes.
MVP Tails, 김문형.
Up against this guy to the bottom right, cross spawns.
CJN2 Bbyong, 정우영.
1 of 4 Terrans. Yeah. Now you said you wanted him to win because you know, you want to see more Terrans because we don't have very many, and also you'd like to see that rematch.
Would like to see the rematch. I think Dark will win it, but I'd like to see it.
And that's why I don't want to see it, actually. I want Tails to win.
Oh.
Because I want to see a match that we haven't seen yet, in that Protoss versus Zerg.
Okay, but, I mean, all right, I see what you're saying. All right,
he's going to do the Center Reaper proxy. I don't actually know how much I like this build. It cuts off a lot of your production after the first Reaper's out, and, you know, if you make a second Reaper, you might be able to get more done, but oftentimes you stop at the one, then you show there's barracks kind of out there, you're missing a lot of production time.
Yeah, I'm not completely sold one way or the other. The thing is, Tails is such a crazy player that in some ways this makes a little bit of sense to me, just because there's a possibility to do something like Command Center first, and then you can definitely, or sorry, Nexus first, then you can definitely get some pretty significant damage done with a semi-proxy Reaper. And, you know, at least it is going to give him some scouting potential, see what's going on.
Yeah. Well, let's see how this one works out. On this map, sometimes you see a Nexus first 2 out of the Protoss, so if that happens, then he might be able to get some probe kills if Tails messes up his micro.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely, if it's a Nexus first, just straight up off of like a pylon, you're definitely going to get a few kills with your Reaper.
That was the last time these two guys played against each other was in 2012. And that's
quite a while.
That's like GSL Season 5. We used to have 5 GSL seasons a year. And Bbyong had the victory 2-0. It just goes to show how good he was so long ago. In a time period where the ESF players were still dominant. ESF players like Tails. And that's another reason why I'm still surprised people don't have like a rallying cry behind this awesome Terran player. Reaper goes the wrong way first, but will now go to the correct location.
That's funny. He had it rallied up there, but decided since the SU is already going to the bottom left, may as well let that one go check. But anyways, he knows where it is. He knows there's a mothership core out, so already a lot of information, and he does have 2 Reapers now.
And I think he's going to stop there. Starts a Marine here, so he doesn't lose that production yet, as the bunker or the barracks is still out there, still making it. But his Marine's not going to be in the most ideal locations. Going to do some walking. Let's see how many probe kills he can get here, because he might be able to get 1 or 2.
Yeah, he might get some.
Maybe.
Does really damage quite a couple of them. A little bit of mistake on control there. I think he definitely could have killed one if he was very careful with what he was target firing.
Yeah. Well, he gets nothing. Now he has some missed production time on this barracks. The Protoss has a Nexus up for free. Isn't hiding anything. So the scout here is... It's like saying that he didn't do anything crazy, which is sometimes important, especially against a player like Tails.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say, I would say against Tails, it's worth it. And with 2 Reapers, there's definitely the possibility you can jump back up and see whatever tech is coming next.
True.
It is going to be a robo.
I mean, just talking about this further...
And a Twilight.
He goes both now. Talking about this further, I feel like there's not... In this particular case, there's not a whole lot gained off of this scout versus just a normal Reaper opening that he would have back at home. And what are your thoughts on why he might do this? Because this is a build that we see every now and then on this map, and I've never seen it do like the damage, or it never ends up paying off as much as what you lose for it, in my opinion.
Well, I think this is specifically, it's a two-piece reason why he's done this strategy. If I had to guess right now, gun to my head, why did Bbyong do Proxy Reaper? One is, if Tails goes Nexus first, he's going to do some reasonable damage and feel very good about the opening. Number two is, he really wants to see what Tails is up to. And as you see, he's already scouted a huge chunk of the map out. Because Tails, I think he looks at Tails and says, if I get into the late game, if I don't get screwed up early on, I'm going to tear him apart, because he's kind of a cheesy, aggressive player. And is he going to be able to keep up with someone like Bbyong, who's so solid and has shown so many times that he can play the longer macro game? You know, I feel like it's an okay choice for those reasons. I mean, it really hasn't done much, but at least he's getting some scouting done now.
Gets in here with that one Reaper. And, I mean, with this, he might actually lose it. It's going to get trapped back here. That's why he only commits to the one. These stalkers ready for the second one, so both of them die. That Reaper scout was kind of weird. I think he was trying to see if it was like some sort of blink all-in. They wanted to see if there were more gates being added. He also saw that there was no third Nexus at that moment either. Yeah,
definitely some important stuff. And having seen the researching Twilight Council, as well as 5 stalkers, he has already seen 5 separate stalkers. I think he's pretty sure he knows what's going on, and in fact, already making a bunker in his main base to make sure he's safe.
Well, stalkers are going to come up here. There's 8 of them, 2 obs, and there's that 4 pylon. But it's going to take a little bit longer. This isn't the fastest Blink Stalker build that you can go for. This means that Stim will be finished, and +1 is not going to be too far away. He's also starting to add those Marauders in.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to follow up with the Colossus. He knows already that this isn't going to kill him, but he definitely can get some damage done. And you know what? Keeping your opponent in his base and dealing a little bit of damage here and there, and having a good Blink Stalker supply, that's not a terrible opening. You know, you don't have to kill someone with a Blink Stalker opening. No, you certainly don't. If you just deal some damage, you're going to feel pretty good.
Double Forge goes down, so it's not going to be just a Colossus timing attack. It looks like it's more so just going to be designed to take a third base with him. He's way up in workers right now, 50 to 41. And this poke forced so many bunkers, and may actually still pick off some units yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how much damage he's going to get done. He did lose that Observer, so he has kind of a hard time spotting what he needs to spot.
Is that an Observer right there on the minimap to the right side? I'm not sure what that is.
No, that's a probe.
Okay, it's a probe.
Yeah, so
he's not going to be able to do anything
more. That's the thing,
here.
like, just losing that one Observer has kind of screwed up his entire plan. 0 damage done. But you know what? He did force quite a reaction of defense. We have no third command center started. And we do have 1-1 on the way, as well as Colossus. So his follow-up's pretty solid.
Yeah. And that probe that's on the right side is going to spot any drops that come out that way. The pylon is going to spot either. So him sticking around in the middle of the map that long wasn't really a mistake either. Now he's home safe and sound. Third base is something that Bbyong wants to try to punish right now. And he has an army large enough to where you might be able to force a cancel on this, since it's pretty new. It doesn't have a ton of hit points just yet. It's not even halfway done yet.
Maybe. You know, he doesn't have a lot of medevacs or anything, but pretty reasonable. He does have his +1 already done, Stim combat shields, all that good stuff. A decent amount of Marauders in this army against a pretty stalker-heavy composition. We'll see what he can get done here. You know, if you at least force all the units to be down on the low ground to fight you, maybe you can fly over and land in the back natural. And, you know, for that reason, Tails already has thrown up a couple cannons there. Is a little bit worried about for something like that.
Well, that Marine alone definitely not going to do it. But here comes a big Stim on top of that Colossus. That Colossus falls down like a man on stilts, attacked by Marauders. And
these men on stilts have a lot of armor, and Marauders do bonus damage to them, obviously.
Exactly, man. And now these Stalkers also being armored units. There's a lot of them, though, and the funny thing is they also do bonus damage to armor, so if you have enough of them, especially with Blink Micro...
All right, so...
Tails is in a great spot right now, I'd argue, even after losing that Colossus.
Well, he lost the Colossus, but he also lost 3 sentries. What did he really kill off, right? He killed off mostly Marines. Both medevacs lived, right? And he saved like 4 Marauders. So I would say that I actually kind of like that for Bbyong.
But consider He has 1/1 upgrades finishing up right now.
Yeah, yeah.
He has a third Nexus now that's unpressured. This drop isn't going to do anything. There's cannons there. He has 2/2 now being researched. He's adding those extra gates, which he was able to cut well enough and hold still and kill those units. So I think losing a Colossus is painful. Losing a Sentry is pretty painful, but holding the base is much more significant.
Definitely super important that he held that base. Like, if he lost the base as well, this game would be very heavily Bbyong favored. I don't think that Tails is in too much trouble, but we'll see what Bbyong can actually get done. Now, this composition that we're watching out of Bbyong, this is like very popular at the moment. It's very Marauder heavy, and it's very Widowmine heavy. Now, we've seen various counters to this. We've seen Ruins style get more and more popular with mass Immortals mixed into your army. And we've also seen some other players go for a more Blink Stalker Colossus type of composition. Notably, Hero has done that recently. So
yeah, Younghwa does that from time to time too.
It's it's an older type of strategy, but both units do reasonably well against the composition.
I want to say it was Super who did this. One of the players in Pro League made a ton of cannons too to help out against this. This is a big drop he's committing to. The rest of the army is actually out of position, so it's a huge commitment here, but I think it could do some massive damage.
Well, it looks like it might indeed. He's got to back up here because his Widowmines are about to go off. The Colossus coming down. He's got to be careful about losing these medevacs, though, or he is, does lose a few, but gets away with 3. Did some damage for sure.
5 kills on the Widowmines. Observer is coming home promptly here. There's enough units to defend the attack at the third base. And, I mean, worker count is actually now in favor of Bbyong, so that's something that's pretty good for a Terran player, but he's making sure he doesn't make too many workers. And he actually comes in at the worst possible moment here.
Yeah, I feel like he was trying to maybe exacerbate the Widowmines going off, but that wasn't that good.
No.
It would have been better if he had not done that. In the meantime, he is going to go ahead, stim, run up into this front natural. Going to be able to take out some Stalkers.
The Stalker warping instead of a Zealot warping, which I found a bit puzzling, but I think it's more going back to that composition thing we were talking about. He wants to have more Stalkers in his army in general. So
yeah, if he did, then he maybe should have bought Zealots because a bunch of Stalkers just died.
I guess so.
Oh, man. Yeah, but you know what? Both of them have very solid economies right now, both on 3 base with over 70 workers each. Some Archons and Zealots being mixed in this composition now.
It's actually going to attack the third base. He has 2/2 upgrades right now. And a very scary army with 3 Colossi against no Vikings. And 2 Archons here.
This could be a little bit rough because he's getting way out of position with this drop. So he can't actually fight this army right now. That is not going to work out. He can slow it down a little bit with some nice micro, but this drop right here is something that is going to have to be dealt with by Tails.
It's actually not fight with Brooks here, a bit of an indecision. I think he really wants to commit to this attack.
Well, definitely going to have to give up that low ground. Let's see, can Bbyong hold this high ground? Right now, his counter drop is dealing a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's got 2 Widowmines set up back behind that mineral line. This blink up here onto the high ground means he can now control the production. SCVs, if he pulls those, we're going to be walking right into so much AoE damage. A few Zealots warping in here is going to clean that up.
Oh,
and
man.
that force field is perfect right there.
Yeah, just absolutely awesome force fields. A hard place to actually fight, especially all those barracks in there.
Oh, this is a disaster for Bbyong. I think Tails has done it.
It looks like Tails has done it. Kind of an interesting base trade scenario here at the end.
Yep.
Huh. It was kind of a weird game, I have to say.
Yeah, it was. The attack there at the third base, I think if you do that on almost any other map, you know, the shorter rust distance, you get that timing a little bit crisper, you kill the Colossus and kill more units and maybe get the Nexus, but in this case I feel like he didn't do enough damage, and then he just kept attacking in where there were multiple cannons set up. That sucks, but I don't think it matters.
One of the problems here is that he had absolutely no anti-Colossus. And that's obviously an issue. Like, you have to make Vikings for a reason because Colossus are like crazy good, and the 3 Colossus just prove to be too powerful here.
He has almost too many medevacs. You know, now you see the medevacs here just hovering over nothing.
Well, you know, the new style, you try to keep them in their base maybe a little bit more with a lot of pressure with the Widowmines and Marauders and whatnot. And you know, a lot of the top Terrans nowadays like to get even 12 or more medevacs, but in this particular game, I think he definitely should have switched into Vikings a little bit quicker. I think he thought Tails wouldn't just go with a base trade, you know? But Tails do whatever it takes to win, that's for sure.
That is true words never spoken, Artos, about Tails.
All right, so Bbyong on the ropes. A lot of Terrans out there having some tears at the moment, I'm sure. Guys, stay calm. He can still do it. He can still bring it back.
Yeah.
Big maps can be really hard for Terran versus Protoss.
I think he might pick Habitation Station here, actually.
You think so?
Yeah, he's played on this map a lot in Pro League.
You think he'll do the...
I don't think he'll live,
base?
but I think he might just pick the map.
Okay.
It's a smaller rush distance. Oh, Overgrowth.
Okay.
Everyone loves to pick this map against Protoss.
I guess. It definitely does have some useful things that you can use against Protoss. Third base and main pretty far away. You can definitely do some drop harass and whatnot. I am a little bit surprised by the map pick. But Bbyong has decided that he feels comfortable here. So we'll have to see how he does.
Yeah. I'm curious about this one as well. He must have some sort of strategy plan here. Like,
You think it's a special strategy? I think he probably just feels very comfortable on the map. I can't imagine what the special strat would be on Overgrowth.
well, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get into the map. This could be the last chance for our first of 4 Terrans. Overgrowth is his map pick. If he loses here, then he's out. And last